Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. Uh, we're going to talk Guardians. We're going to talk Cavs in the playoffs. We're going to talk Browns in the NFL draft. Talk about the NCAA Men's Championship. And we're going to look at the scoreboards of the NBA and the Major League Baseball. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. It's a Major League Baseball trivia question. Uh, Who broke up at least 81 no hitters with a home run? And I'll have the answer later in the podcast. Uh, we're going to talk Cavs right now. Uh, Cleveland Cavaliers head coach Kenny Atkinson mentioned during media day that he wanted the rotation to be 10 or even 11 guys. He spent training camp talking about how important having a large rotation would be. Then he backed it up by playing at least 10 guys throughout the regular season. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Atkinson wants to do the same in the playoffs. Yes, Atkinson said when asked whether you could use a 10-man rotation in the postseason, and it could get reduced. Uh, that 10th guy isn't playing well or doesn't fit the matchup or something like that. Uh, uh, Atkinson said so you can reduce it, but I anticipate starting any series with 10. It's clear that Atkinson wants to play 10 guys. How that looks at this point, excuse me, isn't as obvious. You would guess that this grouping would include the starting five: Hunter, Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, Sam Merrill, and Isaac Okoro. As Atkinson pointed out, it isn't too difficult to reduce from 10. It's much harder to add players into a short rotation midway through a playoff series and expect them to perform. Atkinson also said during Tuesday's practice that he wants to see DeAndre Hunter get more playing time at small forward and especially get more minutes with the core four of Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. That is very difficult to do when you're cycling 10 players uh, uh, onto the court, and that 5-man grouping isn't starting. We don't know entirely how Atkinson will handle the playoffs at this point. We only know what he's telling us, and what we've seen, and in the regular season. Given his willingness to try different things, it stands to reason we can't rule anything out entirely. But for the playoffs, everything is on the table, Atkinson said, and they are going to do it. They are focused on making a NBA Finals run. Uh, we're going to go over the NBA scores. That includes the Cavs, and I'm bringing it. I'm trying to get my tablet here to bring it up. So just give me a minute here, and but it was a rough night for the Cavs tonight, as they lose by two, 114 to 112 to the Indiana Pacers tonight, and this one, and it was very much a rough night for the Cavs tonight. And Kenny Atkinson was ejected in this game. We've never seen that before, and I'll tell you about it in just a moment. And excuse me. Uh, and uh, and I'll tell you about it in just a moment. And I'm gonna go right back. And here we go. Now I can tell you about it. It was not a good night for the Cavs tonight. as I mentioned, they, as I said, fell by two, and this, and it was indeed a rough night for the Cavs tonight. And all right, uh, Tyrese Halliburton scored 8 of his 23 points during a key scoring run in the fourth quarter and Aaron Nesmith added 22 points to help the Indiana Pacers rally past the shorthanded Cleveland Cavaliers 114 to 112 Thursday night. It's Indiana won its sixth straight and secured a top four seed and the home court advantage in a playoff series for the first time since 2014. The Pacers are also 1 win away from their first 50-win season since 2013-2014. 2014. Halliburton added 10 assists, 8 rebounds, and three making 4 3-pointers. Miles Turner had 13 points and 7 rebounds and 4 blocks. Cleveland's Ty Jerome finished with 24 points and 6 assists. Despite being held out of the fourth quarter, DeAndre Hunter had 23 points and 11 rebounds, and Jalen Tyson missed a mid-range jumper at the buzzer that could have forced overtime. Uh, Coach Kenny Atkinson rested 4 of his 5 starters because the Cavs had already clinched the number 1 seed in the East. Center Jared Allen grabbed 10 rebounds in the first half before joining the starters on the bench, and Atkinson was ejected after drawing consecutive technical fouls for arguing following a no call with 58 seconds left in the third quarter. And I've never seen that happen, but I know it's happened with other teams before. And hopefully Kenny Atkinson will be coaching tomorrow night's game. Hopefully he won't. He may have to pay a fine. Hopefully it won't be a suspension. Even without their regulars, Atkinson's team delivered a strong performance. While Cleveland didn't win, its strong bench play sent a message to the rest of the league about what to expect in the playoffs. Indiana spent months chasing home court advantage, and now they have it. The Pacers didn't earn many style points Thursday, but they were getting enough to give Coach Rick Carlisle a choice to rest his players or chase the number 3 seed. Halliburton made back-to-back three-pointers to cap a 10-0 run that erased a 107-103 deficit and gave Indiana a 113 to 107 lead with about 3 minutes left. Indiana scored the Cavs 23-9 on fast break points. The Cavs will be in New York tomorrow night to take on the New York Knicks, or as I say, the New York Knickerbockers, and the Pacers host Orlando on Friday. So hopefully the Cavs can get back on the winning track, although they're trying to rest some of their starters for the playoffs. And they've really done something in this post-LeBron era. Now that LeBron is no longer with us, and they really, it's amazing to see that they have really done something in this post LeBron James era. The Now looking at the other NBA scoreboard, tonight, the New York Knicks fell to the Detroit Lions in Detroit, 115 to 106. The Atlanta Hawks were all over the Brooklyn Nets tonight in Brooklyn, 133 to 109. And the Milwaukee Bucks took care of the New Orleans Pelicans in Milwaukee, 136 to 111, winning by 25 points tonight. And right now in the third quarter, the Memphis Grizzlies are up by 1 with 10:24 left to go in the third quarter. 75 to 74 over the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. Those are your NBA scores right now. We're going to talk Guardians in just a moment. But right now, it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Major League Baseball trivia question. Uh, who broke up at least 81 no-hitters with a home run? And if you said Rickey Henderson, you are correct. By virtue of his 81 leadoff home runs, which occurred when the opposing team pitcher had clearly not yet allowed a hit. And I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be on my NFL Draft podcast on Thursday, April 24th. So stay tuned for that. Now we're going to talk Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians are one of the best bullpens in all of all time last season, and it ultimately capitulated them to an AL Central Division title and an ALCS appearance. The Guardians are hoping that that dominant relief pitchers will guide them once again in 2025, and bona fide closer Emmanuel Clase has actually shown some cracks early on. Their other key players, relievers, excuse me, have been as advertised, with neither Hunter Gaddis nor Cade Smith allowing a run just yet. Gaddis, in particular, has caught the attention of Bleacher Report's Kerry Miller, who went as far as to compare him with the undisputed best relief pitcher in Major League Baseball history, to the undisputed best relief pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Nicolas Gaddis, though, who might be following in the footsteps of Mariano Rivera, breaking into the big leagues as a starter before quickly cementing himself as a dominant reliever. Instead, Miller wrote, "That much is true. Rivera was actually a failed starter with the New York Yankees before transitioning to a middle relief role and then eventually to a closer, where he established himself as one of the most prolific arms to ever step on the mound." Gaddis, too, did not exactly pitch all that well in limited action as a starter between 2022 and 2023, prior to becoming a full-time reliever last season, when he logged a 1.57 ERA and a 0.763 WHIP over 78 innings of work. Likening Gaddis to Rivera is probably a bit ambitious, but Miller seems more to be referring to his path rather than his actual production and skill set. He may never be Mariano, but there is no question that Gaddis is on his way to cementing himself as one of the best bullpen arms in baseball. And the Guardians did win their home opener the other day. In fact, they won all 3 games off the White Sox. In the home opener, it was a walk-off walk, gives the Guardians a 1-0 win over the Chicago White Sox. In the Guardians' home opener, that was on Tuesday at Progressive Field. And the Guardians acquired right-hander Cody Bolton from the Seattle Mariners on Tuesday for cash option him to AAA Columbus. Bolton split his career between Pittsburgh and Seattle. He has appeared in 33 games the past 2 seasons. That included 17 games for the Mariners last year, when he allowed 9 earned runs in 18 2/3 innings with 17 strikeouts. Bolton started the season with the Mariners' AAA affiliate in Tacoma and was designated for assignment on April 5th to make room for Bolton on the 40-man roster, with the Guardians transferred left-hander John Means to the 60-day injured list. And we'll see if that works out. Now we're going to go to the Major League Scoreboard, and I'll let you know what's going on with that. The Guardians did beat the Chicago White Sox 6-1 today at Progressive Field to take the 3-game sweep and hand Chicago their eighth straight loss. And Stephen Kwan had a homer and 3 straight singles and drove in 4 runs to help the Cleveland Guardians complete a 3-game sweep and hand the Chicago White Sox their 8th straight loss with a 6-1 victory on Thursday. That's today. Kwan singled leading off the first and scored on Kyle Manzardo's 4th home run of the season for a 2-1 lead, and the Guardians never trailed again. The White Sox, winless in April, dropped to 2-10 after losing a post-1900 record 121 games last year. Brian Rocchio doubled leading off the third, and Kwan hit a second home run on the next pitch for a 4-1 lead. Kwan added a run-scoring singles his next 2 times up to go 4-4-5. Gavin Williams had is now 1-0, allowed 1 run on 3 hits and 2 walks, striking out 7 in 5 innings of work. Jacob Junis and Joey Cantanello both pitched 2 scoreless innings. And Jonathan Cannon, who was 0-2, allowed 6 runs on 7 hits and 3 walks in the loss for the White Sox, pitching 5 1/3 innings in his 3rd start. A rough month got worse when the White Sox put Corey Lee, left ankle, and Mike Tauchman has a right hamstring strain on the 10-day injured list before the game. Andrew Batende was put on the 10-day injured list on Wednesday. Mazzardo's home run came after a shaky first inning from Williams, who settled down after giving up a single and a walk before throwing 2 wild pitches and falling behind 1-0. The Guardians beat Chicago 1-0 and 3-2 in the first 2 games, despite having just 3 hits in each, something they hadn't done since 1901. In back-to-back victories, the Rockies were the last to do it 30 years ago. Tanner Bibee will make his start Friday, who was 1-1, 6.52 ERA. He will start for the Guardians Friday in the first of a 3-game series against the visiting Kansas City Royals here at Progressive Field. And Davis Martin will start for the 5-point against the visiting Royals. And Davis Martin will start for the Royals, and as a 5.73 starts as the White Sox begin a 6-game homestand on Friday against the first of 3 against the Red Sox. And right now I'm going to let you know about the other major league scores. And so this was nice to see. The Guardians are now 6-6 on the season. And the White Sox fall to 2-10. In the American League, the Kansas City Royals beat the Minnesota Twins 3-2 at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. The Boston Red Sox beat the Toronto Blue Jays by 4-3, at Fenway Park in Boston. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim they walloped Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Rays 11-1 in LA tonight, and in the National League, the Colorado Rockies beat the Milwaukee Brewers 7-2 in Colorado, And in Atlanta, it's in a rain delay at the end of the sixth inning, and the Phillies and Braves are tied at 1, still in a rain delay. And right now, we are going to talk about the Browns right now. We got the Browns in the NFL draft. Uh, the with the NFL draft being 2 weeks away, the Browns appear to be picking up the intensity with their 30 visits with draft prospects as multiple new reports have taken place over the last few days. You can check it out on the full list of reported visits at the tracker on their website, which they will continue to update with the options at the top of the draft narrowed down. We're going to take a look at some players who may be available at the end of the third round of round 3, where the Browns select 94th overall. Now, currently, Travis Hunter is the odds-on favorite to be the first round pick. So, in this exercise, we will take the wide receiver off the board. That still leaves plenty of spots on the roster to be addressed in the final days of the NFL draft. Now, I feel they should take a quarterback with respect, but we'll see. You can check out the 5 options they wrote about in the previous picks on night 2. There are 5 options at pick 33 and 5 options at pick number 67. And now let's take a look at who could be in play for Cleveland at pick 94. And first up is tight end Gunnar Helm. Helm tested poorly at the combine despite his production this year at Texas. He was later disclosed that he suffered a sprained ankle during his first attempt at the 40-yard dash. His tape showed sure and soft hands catching the ball, and his ability to gain yards after the catch stood out. Next up is running back Dylan Sampson. Sampson is an elusive runner with tremendous stop ability, with excellent speed. Most of his carries were out of the gun in Tennessee's gimmicky offense. He is also one of the youngest players in the draft and will be only 20 years old on draft night. But this is one that could very well replace Nick Chubb if we lose him. Next up is safety Billy Bowman Jr. Bowman plays with his hair on fire, and his toughness and competitiveness show up on tape a bit undersized. Bowman has the versatility to play in the slot and centerfold safety spot. He needs to improve his tackling consistency, and his shoulder arms could be a deterrent to his ability to correct it. Defensive tackle Deion Walker is the next one up. Walker is nominally due to his size at 6'7" and over 300 pounds. He showed incredible flashes of athleticism on tape, but overall had very inconsistent reps and production throughout the year. The upside is there, and I could see Jim Schwartz being enamored with his talent. And last but not least is offensive lineman Emory Jones Jr. If the Browns fail to draft an offensive tackle earlier, Jones could be a worthy dice roll on a developmental tackle in a worst case scenario, he could move inside to guard and eventually become a productive starter. He showed raw talent and needs to refine technically with coaching. He could move uh, into a he could move into the lineup. A year of gaining strength will also help him reach his potential as a starting tackle. Now, any of these players, the Browns would uh, would be worthy of a late third round pick and could find a role for the team as soon as this year. And I will be doing my round one NFL draft podcast and all 3 days of the NFL draft leading up to pick number 262, the final draft pick, which is pick number 262, Mr. Irrelevant. So, and I will be round one will happen on Thursday, April 24th. Usually I have Matt Murphy on, but he's not going to be able to join me because he's going out of town. So I do have a guest to join me, and that will be my friend Mitchell Weiner, who will join me on Thursday, April 24th for round one of the NFL draft. We'll let you know what picks come in. We'll talk about the draft, and I'll have trivia questions, and 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 I'll grill him on what he thinks the Browns need to do, and a whole lot more. So please join me for my NFL Draft podcast on Thursday, April 24th, beginning that day at 8 p.m. and here on Scout Sports 101, and I will have it for I'll be watching it on ESPN. So I will keep you informed of all the picks. And finally, we're going to talk about the NCAA men's basketball championship. The Florida Gators are the 2025 NCAA champions as the best as they beat the Houston Cougars by two, 65 to 63 in the NCAA men's basketball final Monday night. Gators forward Alex Condon finally dove on the ball with 2 seconds left, securing it and tossing it toward Clayton. The buzzer sounded. Clayton slammed the ball on the ground, and Houston coach Kelvin Sampson looked on in stunned silence. Houston's defense and offense played hard, but it was Florida's defense that made the big difference down the stretch. And boy, this was quite a game. And the Florida Gators, congratulations, Florida, on becoming the 2025 NCAA champions. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. You will not get a podcast from me this weekend or next week or for the next week and a half because I'm going to be getting ready for the NFL draft. So I will see you on April 24th when my guest will be my friend Mitchell Weiner. So please join me for that. And so until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.